even though there's like a handful of household Latino actors out there, we're still hugely underrepresented in the industry.
There isn't any way that we can tell stories without having Latin talent. We have to think about a way of creating our own projects.
We could literally just step out of the box, or what we grew up knowing and seeing what the box is. We could just step out of it and then just start creating and manipulating and just opening doors.
Today, Hispanics make up slightly more than 17% of the U.S. population. According to a recent Nielsen report, Hispanics are the most avid moviegoers in America today, representing 17% of all moviegoers and account for 19% of box office revenue.
We see that the Hispanic demographic is very heavily weighted towards the younger end of the spectrum. This makes Hispanics a very enticing target for advertisers, as well as for the networks that air the advertising.
Memo, you've worked on over 800 radio and TV commercials. What do you credit for your success, and how do you prioritize between on-camera and voiceover work?
I think in this and any endeavor, you need three things to succeed. The first one is talent. You need to have talent, but also you need to continue your education, because the way we act now is not the way we acted 10 years ago, or do voiceovers as well. So that's the first one. Second one, you have to have a passion to do this. Not only say, I want to be an actor. You have to really need to be an actor to succeed. I mean, it's something that if you do not do, then you would be miserable. And the third one should be to have a wonderful work ethic. It's very important, because most of the time, directors like to work with professional guys than with very talented, obnoxious people.
You're usually good at something that you love. So if you start loving, if you go out wanting to become a rock star, and a rich rock star, if you want to become you do it because you want to become a movie star, then you're going to probably be disappointed. If you do it because you truly love it, you'll become good at it, and then at that point, it doesn't matter what language you're doing. Everybody's going to understand.
Lionsgate was the first one to take a step into producing a film in Spanish, but destined for the English market as well. And we have Oscar with Ladron, que roba ladrón, which was filmed entirely in Spanish for an English market.
It was the first of now many that have done very well, and the film went on to be highest grossing opening weekend for a Spanish film in the U.S. And I think from that they learned also a lot how to market, because they learned, okay, this is an interesting market, and it's diverse. It's not, we can't put them in a box and say, okay, this is how they think.
Now, Ruth, as a performer, how challenging was it to become a producer and create your content? And especially, you chose to do it in new media.
There was no way to do it in traditional media. I actually talked to an executive at a Latino conference one time, and I said, after they were speaking there to support Latino producers, up-and-coming producers and directors, I'm like, how could I possibly get this done on TV? And she looked at me and she's like, well, who are you for anyone to do your show? And I was like, wow, she's right. Who am I for traditional media? And this was right after Resurrection Boulevard. Not that that would have anything to do, but still, it's like, who are you? And I'm like, yeah, she's right. Anyway, cut to a few years later, 2008. Friends of mine were doing web series at that point, and I said, wow, I have the script. So I took it off the shelf, rewrote it, and we did the show as a web series. And the thing that had changed was that now the equipment was affordable. We could shoot the show for very inexpensively, and then we also had at our fingertips worldwide distribution.
Adrian, how do you think the perception of Latino actors has changed? And what advice can you offer SAG-AFTRA members looking to work in Latino media?
I don't know. I'm kidding. Actually, I do believe that we've gotten more mainstream. When I was starting out, my first 3 jobs were a rapist on Unsolved Mysteries, a drug dealer on America's Most Wanted, and another drug dealer on something else. And my last 3 jobs, I was a Persian, con artist with Will Smith, I was a photo lab technician with Ben Stiller, and I was a cheesehead guy from Wisconsin. Now, so from my own personal perspective, I think the industry has gotten much more open to diversity. They really, in my experience, are just more drawn to the talent, and I don't feel personally the restrictions that some people feel. I feel like if you go in there and you kill it, they will just absolutely move in that direction.
And Clemson, how are English and Spanish coming together in the sports broadcasting market?
I'm going to rephrase the question. I think it's how is the English and Spanish language cultures coming together in sports broadcasting? Because what you're seeing now is that they're realizing that the general market likes soccer. Soccer's growing in this country at all levels, not just an Hispanic sport. And other side of the coin, Hispanics are sports fans. They finally realize that.
So you're starting to see a growth because we're realizing that Hispanics don't care more than just, they come to this country and they might, if they're from Mexico, Central America, they might be soccer fans first, but they will adopt the sports of their new city, and they will follow the Lakers, they will follow the Dodgers if they're in LA, if they're in New York, they'll follow the Knicks, they'll follow the Yankees. Another area you're seeing growth is last 2 years, the NFL asked its network partners to start offering the games in Spanish and SAP. So in CBS here in New York, we created 7-8 jobs of play-by-play announcers, so the games could be carried in Spanish on Sundays. You can, so you can have your choice of Jim Nantz and Phil Simms, or if you're tired of them, you can hit the button, you can hear, "Sí, señor, touchdown!"
Adriana, the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, or NATAS, which that sounds like Spanglish, announced 3 new categories in each of its national competitions to recognize excellence in Spanish language programming. How do you think it's going to affect Spanish language production in the U.S.?
I hope these attractive things traduce in a lot of productions for every kind of Hispanic talent, because I think it's so fair that this kind of a great group of Hispanic talent in this country have the opportunity to show their abilities. And I really hope we will have a lot of productions in Hispanic language. Lo espero de verdad, de corazón.
They're drinking tequila over there. That's good.